Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
You know, this is not a money-saving podcast, but we are here to talk about something else. It's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show. Guys, before we get into this week's episode, as always, go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new content. If you just did it, a huge shout out to you. Air horns all around. Yeah. Let's talk about week 5, The Bachelor. I'm not going to lie, this was the most entertaining for me. I was laughing out loud at certain parts. We might disagree again on this episode because it was definitely another Shanae-filled episode. But, you know, she was really giving the entertainment value up a little bit this week. And with everything she was saying, you know, she's become a dark character in the show now. That's definitely, like, I mean, if you didn't know that last week, she is here, you know, doing one thing in front of everybody and now like going in camera and saying some other stuff. But at least she's saying it proudly, and it's actually really funny and fun to watch for a viewer that's been watching this show for a very long time. So Veronica, you know, we started off with a very heavy Shanae driven intro, like, you know, teasing the 2-on-1s that are coming. And we go into this week's episode with, you know, girls talking shit about Shanae again, about the trophy situation, or what I like to say, we had Shrimpgate before.
We before we even get to that, there's some of that, but like we got to start with what was we're still finishing up. I hate how they did this non-linear situation. We're still like doing the weird half-week situations each episode now, which I despise. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
because we had Serene's one-on-one date in Houston still, so we're still in Houston. They rented out an entire carnival pier, pleasure pier, you know.
Yeah, but before we get into that, though, like, you know, the show started off with the girls, especially like Jill, who I wrote down. And the reason why I'm going through it is because I've been writing notes down for the last couple weeks, like note by note. So it's in linear order here.
Well, yeah, no, I guess I just that part, because I obviously do the Tipsy Talks on Instagram. That part I just didn't talk about because
I wanted to talk about it because they're bringing
important.
up the trophy throwing. This is kind of like, you know, from last episode. We had Shrimpgate before, now we have Trophygate, and this is still the girls. It's another episode where the girls just are not learning to stop talking shit about Shanae.
It's like only some of them, though. It's like the ones, and then we'll see them, you know, get sent home. But it's like the ones that are like just saying shit to say shit.
Well, this episode did something interesting though. Like they pushed 4 girls specifically that looked like they were gonna go home, but like 2 of them, like I made 4 predictions of girls going home before the rose ceremony, and one of them was Jill, who was like talking off the bat like about Shanae with the other girls and stuff, but she was being the most vocal, and so that's when I made my early prediction that Jill was gonna go home, because it was just like, come on, you're just talking shit and you have no time with Clayton. So
because I didn't even remember. I just remember seeing her in the little interviews. Like I forgot her name because I was like, okay.
So yes, and after that, you know, this time Shanae didn't hear them through the wall, but we do get into Serene's pier date 101, and you know, she's looking beautiful. You know, Clayton looks excited about it, and they lock down this whole pier for them. So, you know, we get a montage of teacup rides. You know,
do the whole we get to be big kids together. You know, thing, which I mean works out for them. Clayton talks about how he worked at Six Flags as a teenager or something, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, what was he? He was like worked in the Fudge House, like he danced or something. Like what the hell?
Something weird. I was just like, okay, dude, whatever. Like,
yeah, I know. I was kind of like, I didn't even want to like rewind it just to understand what he said. But
they seem to have a lot of chemistry. They almost did us like a little bit of a fake out during this date, because he's like, you know, we're at the halfway point. Like, there's a lot of physical connection with me and Serene, but like whatever. It almost like he almost teased it up to like being like, is there more? But then like they had like a great time, great conversation. They seemed to really hit it off, and he, you know.
Well, I wanted to say though, I did see that part because like, you know, I did feel like there was a lot of things behind the people he picked this week for different dates. Like maybe he really, he likes her. He thinks she's cute, but he does like every girl right now. Like it's literally
he likes everybody.
So that doesn't mean anything, really. He has to.
He's the new kissing bandit. Remember when Ari was the kissing bandit?
Right. Speaking of Ari, I'm gonna probably have to bring him back up later on. From the something I thought about in the show, but I thought, earlier she was like, telling her like biggest fears. They're being super goofy. He's doing the ice cream stuff. And I liked it because it was like, she said something about ride or die, with all the rides and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cute. And she asked this really interesting question to him, like that I've read in a book recently about like good interview questions and stuff. And like a good interview question, like at the end of an interview, you should go up to like, whoever the guy or person is going to be your employer. Do you have any like concerns about me, or is there still anything that you're wondering about? You just address it right now. She said something like, what do you wonder about me, or something like that. And I just thought it was like a great question for someone that might have been possibly on the chopping block. And essentially, he does say he wants to get deeper with her, but he's optimistic. And they go into the night portion of the night, and it's beautiful there, wherever they are. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, like, she was talking about having a wall, Clayton was talking about her having a wall up and that she hasn't really opened up yet or anything. And, she starts opening up and talking about like loss in her life. I don't know if you wanted to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, she talked about how she's lost like a couple of family members. She lost her cousin who is like really close in age to her. And, she talked a lot about their relationship and
Clayton
how,
did something weird during that conversation, though. Did you notice that he was like, wait, so you're still like, I don't know, the way he framed the question, he was like, you're still like upset about that or something like that?
Yeah, the more I listen to Clayton, the more I'm like, this man is so emotionally immature. I have like so many icks for Clayton. Like, he's just like truly not attractive to me, like in multiple ways. It's just like, I feel like however he reacts to like these kind of emotional moments, like I feel like the only time I've really seen him like a redeeming quality when it comes to like emotional moments, especially with the women of color on the show, is when he's like, yeah, I definitely want to talk about like race and like how that plays into things or whatever. Like that was like a couple episodes ago or whatever. But otherwise, like every time I just feel like his responses are like, part of me I'm like wants to be like, okay, maybe they are genuine because he just truly doesn't really know. But part of me is also like he's always like so surprised. Like to me, I'm like, why are you always so surprised by like someone having like some emotion?
Engaged. Like he's definitely leaning into being a lead of a TV show. Like, he's the way he talks, like he's very, I don't know how to put it, like a performative, like, he's like, the way he even talks about dates, it's like he's putting on a show for us, hyping it up before he goes
not
on.
Well.
Yeah,
my thing is like, it doesn't even feel performative. Sure. It feels like he just truly like doesn't know like how to.
But who needs to give good performances when you have kind eyes? Or welcoming eyes, as he thought she said.
I don't even think he has kind eyes. Like, that's also like, I feel like that's become so overused as like a, kind eyes. Like, yeah. I don't even think, what?
I get it. I feel you. I mean, it's all corny anyways, but I will say that she says she was falling in love and she ends up getting her rose. So we get no scene of country bands playing while they dance, but they just get to make out in this beautiful little place they had dinner. So that's kind of how their night ends. Talking in anticipation about the rose ceremony comes up next. We get a lot of screen time for Mara, who was I was going to say was an early prediction for me of her going home, but she's complaining about Shanae. Jill.
She's complaining about Shanae. She's like, that's why I think I got confused when I did the tipsy talks, because I thought she did go home, but then I realized that she was still there because they gave her a ton of screen time.
Yeah, they did the
so
okey doke on her. Like, I felt like, you know, they were showing 4 different women that were going to go home, and then it ended up 2 of them only went home. So, you know, essentially they're talking about, you know, Shanae, and then Shanae walks in, and it's always awkward because, like, these girls really have no sense of, like, someone's walking around the corner when they start these heated conversations. Like,
well, and you know that, like, the producers are like, all right, go. Like, you should go. Like,
it's just
they
like,
hold her back.
You would think
and
they would
then
learn
push her.
after a while to stop talking shit, like, right before Clayton is going to come in, even if it's, like, 10 minutes from now. Just, like, don't be that girl. But no, every time someone's popping off about something and he walks in, like, he didn't hear them just like talking around the wall and stuff. But, you know, before that happens, Shanae comes in and the girls instantly are like, we feel like, you know, terrorized by you. And Jill is like the one that confronts her. So, you know, we started the show with her talking shit and now she's confronting Shanae about, like, you know, all this shit. And yeah, Clayton walks in while the ladies are having a conversation. And, you know, the first move, I mean, he kind of prefaced it earlier on his one-on-one, talking about later on he's going to deal with this, like, trophy situation. And he pulls the girls that won last week's group challenge aside to ask them what happened with Shanae last week. And the girls essentially...
And obviously...
Yeah, the girls...
Sierra and Genevieve are the ones that say the most during that. They rehash what happened. I didn't realize it was a pond. I thought it was bushes, but whatever.
Yeah.
They rehashed that. I think Teddy made the smart move because Teddy is, you know, trying to keep her spot as a front runner. Teddy made the smart move of just being all like, you know, she kept it simple, kept it straight to the facts. She's like, this is what had happened.
Do you think each girl got a chance to talk, or like only the ones like that?
I think it was I think it was really truly.
I would not say anything. I'd be like, you know, yeah, she came in through the trophy.
Yeah, it seems like most everybody else was quiet. Teddy said like just like her little bit, I think, just to be like get herself back into like, you know, into Clayton's brain of being like, remember me.
Yeah. But
like wasn't anything incriminating to her. Just was like,
yeah.
Here. And then Sierra and Genevieve were like, anyways.
Yeah. And this is where Sierra starts getting on my last nerve. And she actually, this is another woman that was like early prediction. I'm writing early predictions like before the roast ceremony.
Yeah, we predicted it last week on this show.
I mean, straight up. Yeah. But Sierra was just kind of getting on my last nerve. It's just like, dude, shut up. Like, you know, you're going to go home before Shanae goes home, especially the way you're just talking so much about this. Like, you know, he's talking about how she's not wife material. Like, what is this about you that's making you wifey material? Like, you know, I just don't understand like the hypocrisy in it. But, you know, she's just letting her emotions get the best of her to the point where she's just the most outspoken one. She's claiming to be the one that's going to let him know one way or another. And all these girls are expecting her to go home so much that it literally was making me laugh out loud. Like and
it's just, I think as a viewer, it's so silly because, like, I felt like they spent so much time.
It's been like 3 weeks, V. It's been like 3 weeks. These girls have been talking about Shanae, and it's like, it's almost getting to the point where I want them all to go home and Shanae to stay.
My thing is, like, so as a viewer, I felt like it felt really silly for how they edited this show. They spent a ton of time showing us all the girls being all like, I think this is it. I think she's going home, when we fully have seen all the previews and we know she's going on a 2-on-1 date. So I'm like, what are they building up this suspense for? Because it's not like they're going to do.
I think they want to make the girls look stupid. Like, I literally do think that.
I don't know. To me, it's like, it's just like, I feel like it was bad pacing for the show in general. I'm like, what's the point? Like, we know that she's going to go on a 2-on-1. Like, this doesn't build up any tension for us as a viewer.
And also it's like, and you can tell like how they're coming at it. Like, it's so haterish. Like, it's like, you know, we're going to have a problem if Clayton can't figure this out. It's like, what problem? Like, you have a problem. That's your problem. Like, you're literally.
Or you just have a problem with how Clayton is as a person, which then maybe you're just not interested in him.
Right.
Like, even in my tipsy talk, I was like, you know what? Maybe Shanae and Clayton are made for each other because, like, whatever. Like, if this is what he's into, that's what he's into.
Right.
Like,
I mean, yeah, fair enough. That's a great point. Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, I just think.
And then he pulls Shanae aside.
I mean, he does pull Shanae aside, but can you admit that these girls are jacking up their own, their own
Well, I think,
cocktail parties?
like the Sierras, the Genevieves, are definitely like it is honestly like there's only a lot of them are upset still. I feel like in general a lot of them are upset with Shanae, and then the ones that are like, let me say something about it, don't even have connections with Clayton. So it's like, okay, you're gonna mess up your own time that then now you're not gonna have. So like it's just kind of like
you're shooting yourself in the foot over and over again, and you only have so many feet. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, again, yeah, he does bring Shanae across, and she does it perfectly. Like, I don't know, she is literally like, I think she says herself, she's like audition. Is she an actress? Like she's like practicing.
Like I don't know, which just is like, I'm like, bro.
Well, that's foreshadowing.
She's like, I'm making it out of my small town of Ohio, some way or another.
Well, I do want to bring up the fact that like the actress thing, because later on that comes back around, from a preview from next week. But
right.
But yeah, so Shanae is confronted by Clayton. She admits to being heated and said she admits to being sorry, and Clayton accepts. And I wrote down yes for some reason, because it's just awesome to watch him be like, okay, so you're sorry. And he's
he's like, okay, let's make out now. I'm like, Clayton,
yeah, let's go. And
I'm like,
and so
I'm like,
it's really funny. Did you hear the?
And then she goes back and does her little tearful apology to the girls.
Did you hear the music they played when they kissed? It was like. It was literally something like that. It was the most dark and ominous like music I've ever heard. And so she goes back and puts on the performance of a lifetime, because as an actor, I thought she was sincere, and this is the genius of the editing. Like
my tipsy talk, I'm like, I'm happy she apologized.
Yeah, no, not only were we happy, but like the most mad girls were like happy. Some of the girls, you could tell they were like, I can't even say that I think she's faking it, because at this point I will become the next one that's gonna go home if after she apologizes and Clayton keeps her
they're
here.
like, I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Just
but, like,
keep
I'm
your mouth
wary.
shut and make it about like you and Clayton if you really want to be here. And I think that's really like her saving grace, is the fact that like she does not give a shit about any of the other girls. If she is actually she's here, she's putting her attention on Clayton, and that's actually a golden move in this game. So, and I do think it's a game. Obviously now it's like it's gotten like it's turned game. So yeah, so the girls are like, we appreciate that apology, Shanae, and then the editing goes right to her like on camera being like, this
was the hardest thing I could have ever done, saying sorry to people I'm not sorry about.
She's
I'm
like,
Meryl Streep.
I'm fake it till I make it, dude. She was like, I want an Emmy, I want a Grammy, I want an Oscar, I want a Tony. She wanted the EGOT with a rose. She wanted a REGOT. You know what I'm saying? So a REGOT, dude. And so then the rose ceremony starts up, and I'm just like, I already knew what girls were gonna go home, or at least I thought I thought I knew, but two of the girls, I'm trying to think of who. Oh, I thought so. It ended up being Sierra, who goes home, and Jill, who goes home.
Lindsay and Jill.
Which one was Lindsay? Damn, I didn't even remember.
Lindsay's the blonde one who also Clayton had brought up stuff to her in a previous episode.
Oh, good, because she actually was talking a lot more shit earlier, and like 5 minutes ago, like, and she was trying to make it sound nice and stuff.
She's been on TikTok now, saying like how her conversations and stuff with Clayton and stuff went, that are shining a little bit more light to like what he was asking her about Shanae and whatever, and like
that's why you don't get
how
caught
he
up.
was leading that stuff, leading questions.
Yeah. So they go home. Sierra or Shanae is just like, I keep sending all these girls home. She's just like, come on, I can keep going. Like, she's like Mike Tyson in there right now. And honestly, she was like, I just sent girls home back to back. Like, she's doing Drake disses on these girls. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. And they get told that they're taking it international, V. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe you're going to drop the international word and go to Canada.
To Canada. And like Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that place is bad,
Canada,
but like when you think international, you think like across the seas or something like that. You don't think it's still in North America, like,
They're just teasing them with this whole international travel stuff. It looks like they'll eventually make it somewhere else, but like they're like.
Well, I know they end up going to what's it
like
called?
Italy or something.
They go to, I've been there. Where the fuck did I go for Yacht Week?
Croatia?
Croatia. I think they end up in Croatia. So, yeah. So anyways, they're in Toronto now, and Clayton says it's weird. Well, I don't know why I wrote that. The girls explore their penthouse. They get all super excited, and we find out that Gabby gets the next one-on-one. Now, I am not a fan of Gabby. I am not. I'm just going to say that. She reminds me, I wanted to bring up Ari's season because isn't that the season that with Crystal? That girl, that woman Crystal that had that baby voice. Oh
yeah, when she did her weird voice.
Yeah, so this is like, I feel like, Gabby is a younger, obviously more self-aware Crystal, but like I can't stand it.
She's just chaotic. She's got such chaotic energy. Like
So
I feel like she like
I think
quirky
like,
to be quirky.
her whole life she's been told like, you're so funny. That's what I love about you. You're so fun, And so she's now, this is her. Like, she knows that's her.
She's like, I'm the quirky
superpower.
girl.
Yeah.
Let me be quirky.
Yeah. So, they get on this one-on-one. First of all, she like cries about it, which I was like, this is kind of
She's
pathetic.
like real emotional. She
No.
like cried last week. She cries. She's just like, she gives me the whole like she gets puffy face easily. Like she just gives me the whole like I'll cry at a drop of a hat vibe.
Yeah.
Which is like not my vibe. Like she's just chaotic. Like
Yeah.
she's all over the place.
So they take a flight in a helicopter around Toronto.
Second helicopter date of this season.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, let's go to a place
They
and see
really
it from
balled out
above
on the
you.
budget for this season.
They really did.
Misogyny.
They really did. And so, they're doing their thing. They go and play hockey. She's like on the sidewalk with a dog. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Clayton's like petting her.
Nothing. This date just like was literally, I was like, I couldn't keep it straight. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I hated her
They're
laugh. No offense. I mean, it's just like, I know she can't control it probably, or her voice, but
I
it was
don't
just.
like to hate on people's laughs.
I don't
It's people's,
either.
like,
That's what I'm
expression
trying
of
to
joy.
say, but I can't help like how I felt like when I was watching it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to be like, I know she can't control it probably, or whatever, but I'm just like, it is what it is. And I was getting Crystal vibes from it and stuff. So
It's like Crystal, but Crystal tried to be like the husky, like we almost like older voice, where I feel like Gabby is like playing more like a child. Like she's all
feel
like,
like-
I'm funny and silly and like whatever.
no, Crystal was like a combination of Shanae and Gabby. So that's the way I look at it. But
Yeah,
so anyways, back at the house, we got the girls getting told like what the next group date is, and the only girls left out were Shanae and Genevieve. And Genevieve starts sweating bullets because she's like, what the hell? Like, I thought I made it past all the fire, and no, you did not. Like, this is what
And it's
happens.
so funny because
This is
you
a
can
producer
tell
pick
which
too. This is the producers being like, we still got like the left of these hater girls left, the mean girls.
Well, this is like, it's just a producer pick because they always put whoever is like the villain on a 2-on-1. And it's just, that's how it works.
Which
but,
I feel bad. I wish she wouldn't have, because I really do think Genevieve is beautiful and I like her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think she's
Genevieve
cute.
could be good if if she hadn't been, one of the main ones speaking up. And I think, she had potential.
To go back to my point earlier about like the specific picks of dates this week, I do think Gabby was picked for this date as well because she was a mean girl too. Like, I think they were trying to get the girls that were like kind of like into conversations.
Like she was less of a mean girl, but she was in that
She's playing
circle.
both
She was
sides.
around the discussion, but she wasn't like actively like doing it, but she was around the discussion more than some of the other women, more than like a Teddy or a Susie or like a Rachel.
I
per
think
se.
it's kind of a separation, and it's like a separation of class between the girls. It's like the girls that are the popular ones that are like are like doing well with Clayton, and then you got the girls that are just like talking shit about Shanae. And everyone talks shit about Shanae, but like they're ones that like make their whole like career about talking shit about the villain.
Right.
And
Right.
and Gabby kind of got caught in between that as well, and so did Genevieve. So here we got Genevieve trying to like be kind of comedical about it, but she's asking.
Well, and you could tell Genevieve knows the show.
Yeah.
That's why she's
Shanae
sweating
knows
bullets.
the show too, but like
She knows the show, but like not well enough. Like she was like, "What do you mean?" Like she was like, or she was just playing. Like, what do you mean?
She's definitely playing, and honestly, she knows that she has so much confidence. She sent like 2-3 girls home now. She thinks she's scared of Genevieve. Like not at all, man. Like not at all.
And that's my thing is like she obviously has a better connection with Clayton. So like this 2-on-1 is definitely not going to end in Genevieve's favor, but we don't even get to that yet. But
so we get to the night date portion of Gabby's one-on-one, And I just hate these night portion parts because I just feel like most times like
it's the emotional dumping part.
like people just have their one thing that they come in with that they have to like, this is how
she
they
has her
open
mommy
up.
issues.
Yeah.
She talks about her mom and all
how
that
her mom
stuff.
doesn't
And also
love her. I'm just like,
I also have an issue with all these girls in these like little mule heels because like Gabby like couldn't walk in her fucking heels just even to the little table, like the couple of steps. And I'm like, sis, you got to get it together. You're not looking great. But
what do you mean?
I mean,
was she drunk or something?
no, it's just like the style of shoe. It's like a high heel, but it has like no backstrap, a mule. And so like I felt like she was waddling because she didn't know how to walk and keep her shoes on.
Interesting.
And it just looked stupid.
Well,
These are things I know.
Yeah, they get into their bathing suits and get hot in the pool, and essentially Clayton's like, blindsided, he says, by her, and really
he's feeling her.
Yeah, he's feeling her. I mean, we've got 2 past like Bachelor Nation people that have dated this woman, so I don't know if he knows that or not. She was smart not to bring it up, but regardless, like however she's coming across on TV to me, one way or another, in real life she's probably very charming and like and nice to be around. Obviously, Clayton was blindsided by her, so he honestly was making it seem like he was like falling in love with her. So
yeah, I mean, it definitely puts her in the position of what I was predicting, that she's going to be a front runner.
Yeah. So yeah, she does stand out. So we get to the group date portion, and Jesse Palmer is there when the girls walk in, and then out of nowhere, comedian Russell Peters has this terrible entrance. Like he's just like vulgarly
so bizarre,
dissing people, which I guess is a roast, but it didn't feel clever at all. And I guess maybe does he like host some roast show?
I didn't even know. I personally don't. Maybe I just don't know that kind of comedy well enough. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I know of him. I just never thought he was funny. He's been a comedian for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't. And like they're like, oh, he's the king of roast, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
He might host like a roast show or something. I don't know, but
yeah, but like he gave nothing.
Yeah.
He literally gave nothing.
It was cringy. It was very cringy, and eventually. They're told, the women are told that they have to roast Clayton and each other. And, the girls are talking about tension in the house, and this is going to be hopefully a release for them. And all of them are just still talking about Shanae not being on a date. So hopefully they'll have a great date. But here we go, just talking shit again, roasting each other. So,
yeah.
The producers were ready for this date perfectly.
I mean, some of their jokes felt like a gimme. I have to give it. Marlena kicked ass. Marlena made some funny roasts. I thought her stuff was good. She obviously brought up.
She did all right, but I
thought she did great.
Yeah, she did all right, but who did awesome? I thought was Sarah, dude. Sarah roasted the crap out of people. Not only did she impress me with her rap skills that one episode on our 101.
Sarah was good.
Oh my goodness, but she's the youngest one out of all of them, and she came hard.
Which I didn't even realize she was that young.
Oh, she came hard at Mara, and
because Mara came, yeah.
Mara came back with her response and stuff, which was good as well. She served it right back to her, but like. Oh my God, dude. I was like, dude, that's a roast. And she was laughing the whole time like she knew she was being a bitch. So it was awesome, man. It was awesome. And I meant
it was so funny because she's so cute and she'd be like just delivering these lines and she's like, anyways. Like,
yeah, she's like, yeah. And then Mara comes back, be like, yeah, when you're done with this little girl, if you need her a babysitter, just let me know. So I thought it was
so good. I thought they did a good job. Marlena did a great job.
Overall, everyone had a pretty, and then they went in on Shanae, like took cheap shots at someone who's even there to defend themselves. I would have loved to see Shanae in that roast battle with all those girls because like she would have came in for everyone. It would have been hilarious, but or maybe she wouldn't. Maybe she got up there and just cried and made it like seem like, oh, poor me, and then Clayton like feels bad for her and all the rest of the girls look like shit, and I would have been here for it, dude, because that's some good TV. But anyways, the girls leave the date. Clayton and all the girls feel really good about it. Everyone should feel good about this date except for Russell Peters. And
honestly, and poor Marlena, I thought she was gonna get the rose because like they actually had like a good little like cocktail portion talking to each other, and he's like,
Clayton
I'm really
was
impressed by
super
you.
into her, it seemed
Yeah,
like.
and he's like, I'm really impressed by you. You've been like impressing me, like blah blah blah. And then, but he's just head over heels for Rachel, dog. Like he's like all in on Rachel. He's like, I can't stop thinking about you. And he's like, here's the group date roast, even though I don't even think we got to see any of her roast. I don't even think it was any good.
So do you think it's Rachel, Sarah, and Gabby at the end?
That's my prediction.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's our predictions. Essentially, that it is bullshit. Marlena should have at least gotten one of those roses either this week or last week, because she's been killing it. But yeah, we got the after party. I wrote down Shanae is the best for some reason. Clayton likes every girl. He's like admitting to being like, I like every girl here. So at this point, there's really, you got your 3 that you like, but every girl he's going to make out with and kiss and be super into. That's just the way it is. He's surprised by the fact that he likes all these girls, and it's like, are you serious?
And I'm like looking at this man, and I'm like, I'm not. Also, knowing how many women in like the Columbia, Missouri area that he like was dating and like seeing or whatever, I'm like, I'm not surprised. Like, of course.
Yeah. So
you have them all in one spot for you. Of course you are.
I know. It's just. Honestly, anyone looking for love wouldn't be in this position. I'll tell you that much. But really, truly looking for love. But so we get towards the end of the episode here, and we are going on the 2-on-1. And just before we get into it, I saw a little preview of like they made these 2-on-1s like we haven't seen a 2-on-1 in a while or something. I really don't remember the last 2-on-1, but like I saw some type of like super cut of all the 2-on-1s, and they made it all dramatic and making it seem like the 2-on-1s are back.
I don't know if we saw a 2-on-1 in the last 2 Bachelorette seasons, but we definitely saw one in it was sort of a 2-on-1 in Matt James's season, but it was sort of not. It was sort of like a let me talk to both of you and send one of you home conversation. It was like a pseudo 2-on-1.
So we get to the 2-on-1, and it's just very, very awkward. Like you could tell that, first of all, Shanae is telling us that she's prepared for this date. Like not just prepared, but she's prepared lines. She's practiced it over and over again in her room, and she knows exactly what she's going to say, and she knows exactly how it's going to go down. And her comments are cracking me up. Her delivery of things is so funny to me. Like I'm literally like, this is what I want to watch when I watch The Bachelor. Someone like her just like being like, I'm going for my man. I don't give a shit about this girl. She's getting thrown in there, that wet chihuahua. And you could tell Genevieve already like knows she's going to go home. Like,
I feel like Shanae was written by a man.
Why?
Because like that kind of humor isn't that funny to me, but maybe I just like have like a different sense of humor.
No, I guess so. I just like good TV, man. I just think it's just like she's bringing entertainment value to this show that, all these girls are doing the same things as her, I feel like, except she's just open about it, which I respect. I respect the fact that she gets on camera and says, she knows that it's going to be shown on TV. Like she's owning it, and I respect that. There's something to respect about, and for me at least. And it's getting and literally Genevieve you can tell she's already defeated. Like she's as silent as hell.
Well, because I think she has to know that her relationship like isn't as close with Clayton. I think proving how things went down with like how she's seen things go out with the group dates with Shanae, with whatever, she's all like, well, obviously my relationship with Clayton is like, I think she has to see that. So like,
Genevieve is busting out the big guns. She's like showing the ladies and ready to go. And then they get to Niagara Falls, and it's like, what was the saying that they talked about on Niagara Falls? Like they're like something, I forgot what Shanae, she repeated it, but it was whatever was on the date card for the 2-on-1.
Into the Falls, something like
into the Falls, and I just thought it was just really funny the way she was like saying it, and so and that's pretty much how it ends. Like it ends with a 2.
I know we got a lot of build up for this 2-on-1 date to see maybe like 3 minutes of it, and I'm pissed.
I mean, they're very unconventional with the way they're piecing together this season, but
I feel like we could have cut out like so much of the bullshit with the rose ceremony at the top of the show, where they're trying to build us up to being all like, will Shanae go home, when we obviously know she's not.
Yeah.
Like we could have cut that out. I would have rather seen the full 2-on-1 date this episode.
Yeah. Well, she says something crazy, funny too, that like I just was like, this is great. She was like, I just want that rose. If I get that rose, it's gonna feel better than sex, she said.
I know, yeah. I was like, Jesus, this is so sad.
It was so funny, dude. And yeah, and then we get a really it was like a pretty dramatic like ending to the show. It was like a lot of crying, a lot of like, you know, previews
We see
of the future.
a lot of previews. They've been really bombarding us with previews this season. Like, we've been seeing previews since before the season started of like every single week. And it looks like we're going to get more on Gabby. Gabby looks like she's going to be causing trouble towards the end and like might be, I don't know, like she might be the one breaking Clayton's heart or like misleading Clayton or something. That's what the edit looked like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like what Clayton was like mad about something. We get a little peek at next week's 2-on-1 date, and for someone talking about practicing their lines, she accuses Genevieve of being an actress or something like that, and she's caught off guard where she has like, you could tell like if she doesn't say yes I'm an actress, she's lying that she's not an actress, like, you know, or something like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, that little bit, I know. I'm like, so she's gonna like do this or like whatever, and I think Genevieve's gonna be like, what the, like, where is this even coming from?
I
like,
mean, it's just like another pile on top of like probably reasons that Genevieve is going to go home. It really doesn't. It's just tipping the scale for her, and I just think that Shanae is calculated like a super villain. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she is.
Yes.
She is a super villain.
I love it, and I love a good super villain. So, speaking of Shanae, not only did I'm proud of her, getting this far with, really just working the game, but we have to give her a shout out for the fact that she shared our podcast this last week on her Instagram.
She did indeed.
So shout out to Shanae for, showing some support to us, which gives me a little reason to, I'm glad, we might disagree on topics or whatever, but, at least if someone's going to come to the show, they might like either your point or my point, especially if it has to do with them. So at least one of us here is showing support of her, if not, but, either way, she's showing us support. So we have to, big up that. So she says, I'm here for it. And when she posted it. So,
yeah, she was listening.
Yeah, that's what's up. So that's pretty much this week's episode. We have a week 6 next week, right? There's no like break.
Yep.
Because that would be some bullshit if they like to be continued us into a break or something. But,
no. We got an episode next week.
Good. So we, that's pretty much everything for week 5. Do we have any news out of Bachelor Nation?
Yeah. So people noticed, in the new Hulu series, Pam and Tommy, a familiar face from Becca Kufrin season, is Leo. He is known for being a stunt actor and et cetera. He's been in a couple of other, like American Horror Story, a couple other things, Moneyball, whatever. But I guess he stars as not stars. I mean, his IMDb says he's called Massive Man. So he's on set for. He's a porn star in there, because if you watch the series, you understand how like porn stars get.
Yeah, so he is a star.
Yeah, so he's a star, I guess. But so I think it's a funny little connection to stuff that's happening.
Well, it's because like in that scene, like he's supposed to like I guess have anal with the girl that plays Piper and Orange Is the New Black. And then like, Seth Rogen has to step in because like he's too big she doesn't want him to insert himself in her because
I haven't gotten to the scene yet.
Oh, you haven't? My bad. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so anyways, it's something we'll talk about more later on. But yeah, I caught him in the show, and that's when I was like, I Googled it and I sent it to you. I was like, dude we got some Bachelor news in this show I'm watching right now. So so that was interesting. But yeah, I guess he's doing well as an actor, at least getting these roles. I mean, I don't know. I would like a role like that. Maybe not a porn star role, like playing. Yeah, well, yeah,
I think he's a stunt actor primarily. So he's been in a lot of stuff for like stunts, I think. Or
I mean, he was there enough for me to notice him. So, yeah.
I mean, stunt people are important.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else?
that was it that I saw.
Cool. So we'll catch you guys next week with week 6. Make sure, to like and subscribe. Leave a comment on your thoughts of Shanae. Do you like her? Do you not like her? We'll see you next week with week 6.
Future Bachelor